Today, I want to talk about a phase that tests every ambitious professional. This is the hardest phase of achieving any big goal, especially when you have a step out of your comfort zone into the unknown. And if you want to know how to keep going when your goal feels out of reach, and also whether to quit or keep going, this video is for you. Hi, my name is Sarah Mobahamfad. I'm a professional certified coach, VP ICF, and I help mid-career professionals build leadership skills, navigate workplace and business dynamics, and confidently step into their next chapter, whatever that looks like. I'm also a business mentor for leadership and executive coaches who work with these professionals. Sometimes you know exactly where you want to go. You've got a goal, you're putting a lot of work into it, you have a plan, and yet you are in that in-between space where you have not achieved your goal yet. You have hope, but you cannot tell if the effort will ever pay off. Your patience is wearing thin, self-doubt starts to creep in. So if this sounds familiar, this phase has a name. It's also known as the messy middle, if you didn't know. And I have a personal story to share with you about it. When I quit my corporate job to go all in my fashion business, I had another business before I became a coach. I thought I had a solid plan. I'd already consulted with the right people. I was very confident. But in that first year, nothing worked. Everything I learned in business school or corporate seemed irrelevant in my small business context. And my entire network was corporate people, all my friends from university. Everyone knows corporate managers, executives, and they didn't understand a small business. And I didn't know any entrepreneurs or business mentors who understood small business in fashion. And I felt like I was in this dark tunnel. I don't even know how I survived it. But when I finally found the right places to network, connect with the right people, get the right information and advice, things started to change and my hope started to return because I finally had a feeling that I know what I'm doing. But it took a while, at least a year. And you probably have heard this term messy middle also in the context of marketing. Google uses that term a lot. It refers to that phase where potential customers know about you, they're checking you out, they are on this journey to hopefully buy from you, but they haven't bought yet. It's also used in other contexts to refer to the phase after the excitement of starting something phase and before the rewards of growth or achievement start to show up. So it's a gap between no longer and not yet. It's often a phase full of setbacks, doubts, complexity. In a career context, it could be that liminal phase where someone has outgrown their current role but does not yet know their next step. Or maybe they know how the next chapter looks like, but the path to get there is not clear. There is a book by Scott Belsky, which I like. It's called The Messy Middle, and he talks about this stage as well. I totally recommend that. This is the phase where novelty and excitement of starting from early days is fading and your motivation is not exactly the same, but you still have so much to do, hopefully, to achieve that desired goal. This phase feels like empty space, feels like a void, but it's actually the bridge to your next chapter if you know how to use it. And that is what I'm going to cover in this video. This is a hard phase for business or career growth that you don't hear so much about because we often hear about the achievements and results from those who created overnight success stories, but not many people are posting on LinkedIn about struggling for 6 months or a year with a leadership challenge or failing a project or not making progress in their business, right? It's kind of embarrassing and, you don't feel safe to do that. So that's why we don't hear so much about it. And the messy middle does not come with applause, recognition, obvious milestones. No one's going to congratulate you for your failures. And the end result is not visible or guaranteed. Nobody knows if you will ever achieve it. It's hard. So this is also the phase where so many who start with ambition start questioning everything, losing hope, considering giving up. And you probably have heard this, only 10% of entrepreneurs actually make it. A lot of people cannot survive this phase. And the numbers are also the same in the coaching industry with a lot of new coaches who come to the market to become self-employed, but it actually doesn't work and they go back to the employment job market. So the messy middle is that part of that phase of transformation where the old ways of working no longer work and the new way is not clear yet. So you're facing unexpected obstacles and slow progress. Your identity has not fully caught up with the change you're creating. You're going through an identity crisis and you sometimes don't even know yourself anymore. For example, you are spending your free time on setting up a business, but you do not know if it will pay off. You also notice what you learn in your corporate job, like in my case, is not helping you in the context. Or maybe you're getting trained in a new field and it is challenging and it's tiring and you do not know if it will it ever uplevel your career? Would anybody care about it or not? You don't even know how to use that skill yet. Or maybe you've been offered this middle management position. This is the one I hear so much about. And how you do in this role will decide if your employer will consider you for promotion to a more senior role. But you find yourself in complex situations with your team, the limitations of resources. So much of what you knew before about leadership and management in crisis is not working anymore. Middle management is very hard and it's not what you expected. From a neuroscience perspective, this phase feels so hard because your nervous system craves safety, certainty, familiarity, and proof. And here, none of that is available. You're in unknown, uncharted territory. I've been there many times myself, and I've seen it with clients too. One of my clients, a very strong, resilient woman, she had quit corporate to grow her fashion business. My early clients were all also coming from fashion. But things weren't going according to plan for her. She was not getting enough sales and she was in survival mode, pushing herself harder, working long hours, losing sleep. And when we were meeting for coaching sessions, she could hardly focus or remember things. And she even once had almost an accident with her car driving and falling asleep. So only when she took a week off, got some rest and added morning swimming to her routine, everything shifted. Her nervous system calmed and suddenly she could see new possibilities. Okay, maybe swimming is the last thing you can think of in the middle of chaos, but it is what made her to step back, pause, and think differently so she can actually come up with a creative solution. Collaborating with a partner that shifted a lot in her business. Really, that was the morning swimming that helped, but it was not really the visible solution. So this phase can make or break your career. I've had moments where I launched a product. I've launched many products during my self-employment, my entrepreneurial career. And sometimes I invested heavily in planning, brought in the best team, put my heart and soul into that project. I invested a lot of time and money and only saw poor results. And a few times I seriously considered applying for boring, safe jobs because I've had enough, just to escape this uncertainty I was going through over and over. But more than once, right when I was about to quit, something amazing happened that kept me going. Now I know these low points in business are part of the process. I'm going to have high points and low points. So as long as I have a plan, I can financially sustain I'm not going to let panic drive my decisions. But it took me a while to learn this. This is the stage where you notice what brought you here won't get you there. This is also the stage where smart people hire coaches and mentors and advisors to be able to see their situation from a different angle. It's very important and it can really change everything. I'm a coach, but I do not believe you always need a coach or therapist or mentor. It's okay to be without them in some stages. But when you are in the messy middle, you must have an external point of view and a safe space to express yourself, explore your thoughts, and uncover your blind spots. We don't know what we don't know. And most of my clients come to me when they are going through this phase, or if they are experienced and self-aware, they hire me right before this stage because they know this is going to happen and they want to be proactive. And this brings us to the next topic, the myth of linear career or business growth. My generation and those older than me were told in school to pick a field, become an expert, move up, repeat, or stick to one thing, avoid jumping from one topic to another. And we were told success comes from clear linear path. But in reality, career and leadership growth is never like that. Sometimes you do not achieve your goals. You move backwards, you make mistakes, your experiment and test doesn't go as planned. You don't always get the results you want. Or something happens in your life that is totally out of your control and you cannot really focus on the projects, on the work, on the business. And if you're a high-performing professional and associate your self-worth with your performance, you will start to feel anxious. And when you go through hard times not performing so well, not getting much recognition, you start to feel bad about yourself. And you might think, I'm not worthy because I'm underperforming. I'm not adding value to the society. I'm not useful enough, and create this unhealthy shame around this situation. This is why it's so important to have the right support, build self-awareness, and create a realistic understanding of what is actually going on. Comparing yourself to others who made much faster progress and using that as a self-blame anchor is not helpful. It's just not constructive. But all of us get into that at some point. And this messy middle can take longer or shorter depending on our life situation, context, systems we are part of. And it is not all about your mindset. I'm a coach. I'm saying that it is not all about your mindset. Your circumstances matter as well. There are lessons you can only learn from these phases of your life, career and business, by moving through uncertain, unglamorous middle stages. And I hope you do not forget that you are here because you did not play it safe. People who play it safe do not end up here. You got out of your comfort zone, and it takes courage to be here. So I hope you're celebrating that for yourself. And one of the skills you cannot build in this stage is the skill of resilience that becomes part of your unique advantage for future. When I started my first business, the fashion one I was just talking about, I knew nothing about this industry, and fashion, especially in manufacturing, is very exclusive. Finding the right suppliers when you're an outsider is not easy. And then marketing fashion for someone like me, I'm an engineer. I'm a total nerd. I worked in a totally different environments. That I was not even that stylish or showy. So it was marketing for fashion was such a foreign place to be for me. Hanging out with people that I didn't even know what to talk about. That was tough. And I had so many days asking myself, what are you doing here? You don't even belong. But I just felt deeply in my heart that I need to stay patient with this and see where this journey takes me. I had a creative idea. I was very proud of my idea, and I wanted to bring that to life. So I was really pushed to my limits in that business to build the right network, find support, and slowly grow that business and make money. And I eventually became a coach because of that career change and that entrepreneurship journey. All the learnings, personal transformations, leadership lessons, and mindset shifts that came with that journey brought me here. It was a complex journey, but if I had lost my hope and quit and got back to my old corporate job, which was always available to me, I wouldn't have been here, and I wouldn't have helped hundreds of people. I wouldn't have learned what I know today. And this is why I call these messy middle phases bridges. A bridge might be a side project, a cross-functional role that may not sound so glamorous, may not be that exciting, a leadership position that stretches you to the edge, or a business that is going through a tough season. All of these are hard, but they're bridges to your next chapter. And on paper, it may not look like a rewarding career move, but it's preparing you for what's next. So like for me, before I become a coach, I never saw coaching as a real job. I never considered that for myself ever for most of my career. But during the pandemic, I was offering business and marketing consulting to small businesses selling online because I had taken my business online and everybody was asking me about it. So I created a free training program and 72 people joined. And that was my bridge. It led me to pursue coaching seriously because I noticed I'm really enjoying this and it's helpful for people so I can learn more about it. And my fashion business, that was another bridge. It started with passion, but over time I fell out of love with it. I wasn't really enjoying it. I took every course, worked with mentors, joined masterminds, and built a network in e-commerce and digital marketing. And all that work on my personal and business growth made me go get to know about coaching and how transformation happens. And slowly I could see this could be my career. And now I just cannot imagine not doing this. So I finally feel at home with my job. And it's really because of that phase. So now, how do you survive this messy stage? Because it is hard. I'm not joking. First, you want to anchor into your why and vision. I know it sounds cliche, but meaning is very important. Meaning is more important than joy. So many psychologists and neuroscientists talk about this. We need to know why we are doing what we are doing and how it can make our lives more meaningful. So my why or purpose was always about growth. I was always into philosophy, psychology, getting self-awareness, getting to know myself deeper. And I want to do it for myself, and I want to do it for my clients. I want to share what I've learned with others. And also on a practical level, the type of business I have built is perfect for my lifestyle that allows me to travel, support my family. I have family living all over the world, and work flexibility. I'm not sure if I can have this flexibility with a corporate job. And that vision keeps me moving forward during these tough times. Secondly, you want to work with your nervous system and not against it. Whether that's yoga, sports, breath work, journaling, or surrounding yourself with supportive people, find what grounds you. I learned the hard way that if I don't, stress will take over and cortisol will affect my health. And once you lose your health, it is really hard to think creatively. It's very hard to be in the business and the career. So you want to take care of yourself. And third, frame setbacks as learnings and not reasons for shame and blame. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? This messy middle is often where your next level takes shape, and it's long before the results are available. So you want to be patient. And here's the reality check. The messy middle isn't always worth it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you just be patient. I'm not going to romanticize difficulty. Sometimes quitting is the right decision, is the bravest thing you can do. And actually, I had a client who came to me wanting to start her own coaching business. We actually worked on it for and the reason was she wanted to leave her toxic corporate job. She was in a very complex situation, and the culture of the company she worked for was totally misaligned with her personal values of autonomy, integrity. Her mental health was being affected. So she loved coaching, and she assumed if she starts a business, gets successful, she can leave this job. We worked for a few months. We did everything. She even got some clients, but eventually realized she didn't actually want entrepreneurship. She didn't like being self-employed, and that was not her heart's desire. So what was perfect for her potential, talents, and gifts was a healthy corporate culture, a team she could lead with compassion. Once she made that shift, everything changed. It was not easy. It took a few months, some rework, but it was worth it. And Seth Godin's book, he has this book called The Dip. He talks about knowing when you're in a temporary challenge worth pushing through versus a dead end. You should quit strategically. So not all messy middles are created equal. Some are getaways to your next level. Others are detours you can release without guilt. You can quit if it's the right thing for you. These transitional phases are inevitable. How you navigate them and whether you stay in them is up to you. If you're in one right now, I hope my stories have helped you see you're not alone. And if you're at a crossroads, unsure whether to stay or quit, sometimes the best thing you can do is talk to a professional coach. If you resonate with me, you can connect through the links below this video. And if you don't resonate with me, find another coach. I hope you enjoyed this. And yeah, see you soon.